Welcome back to Module 1, Lesson 14. This is learning about dividing decimals. These ones are going to be a little bit different, so let's take a look. You are going to need a place value chart to solve out these beginning ones, and then I'm going to show you how to do the standard algorithm as well, so a little bit of division review. So the first thing you want to do is record your number on the place value chart, 6 and 72 hundredths. And I've also gone ahead and drawn out the number of dots that those represent. So 6 is the same thing as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dots, 7 dots, and 2 dots, or discs, however you want to call them. I'm dividing by 3, so I want to keep that number in mind as I'm dividing. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with my largest number. 6 divided by 3. How many times does 3 go into 6? I know that 6 times 2, 6 divided by 3 equals 2. 2 times 3 equals 6, and 6 minus 6 is 0. On my place value discs, I can visually see that I can make 2 groups with 3 dots in each. All right, let's scoot over to the tenths column and see what we have there. Okay, so how many times can 3 go into 7 without going over? How many times can it go in evenly? And I can also use my dots as a visual. So there's one group, there's another group, but I have one left over. Let's talk about that in just a minute. So I can make 2 groups, and 7 minus the total dots that I used is 6, or 2 times 3 equals 6. That gives me 1 left over. I want you to think about, what could I possibly do with that 1 that's left over? All right, hopefully you have thought about the hundredths place because I haven't divided that yet and I can use it. So we know from our place value knowledge that the tenths column is 10 times bigger than the hundredths. So this 1 is 10 times bigger in the tenths than it would be here. So if I have 1 and I multiply it by 10 to make it 10 times bigger, to scoot it down 1, that gives me 10. So when I scoot this 1 over, it's actually worth 10 hundredths. Or I can just draw that 1 in front of the 2 hundredths that's already there, because 10 hundredths plus 2 hundredths equals 12 hundredths. So now I'm not dividing 2, I'm dividing 12 by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is, from my fast facts, I know that that is 4. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to check your answer with a standard algorithm. And a standard algorithm, that's just a bunch of fancy words for the traditional division method, but you will hear standard algorithm used. So I'm going to set up my problem like a division problem. The big number, the first number always goes inside the house, and the second number goes outside the house. Now I'm going to use my long division method, so I'm going to ask myself, how many times does 3 go into 6? 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3, if you want to write the steps over here. Dad, mom, sister, brother, Rover, or does McDonald's serve burgers raw? Or even if you learned about Division Man, which if you haven't, I'll teach you. So my next step, that's divide is the first one, then I multiply, so 2 times 3 equals 6. Then I subtract, 6 minus 6 is 0. Then I bring down, I have a 7. 3 goes into 7, remainder or repeat, so I'm going to repeat up at the top. 3 goes into 7 2 times. 2 times 3 is still 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. And then I bring down my 2. Then I need to repeat. So 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. And 12 minus 12 is 0. The only thing I need to make sure I do is carry that decimal straight up. So it goes right between the 2 and the 2. So take a look. Standard algorithm and using a place value chart, still get the same answer. That is a good sign. All right, let's try this one. 5 and 16 hundredths divided by 4. So I'm going to draw out my dot. All right, let's take a look. How many times can 4 go into 5? Or how many groups of 4 can I make? Just 1. 4 can go into 5 one time. That leaves me with 1 left over. What can I do with this 1 that's left over? That is right, I can scoot it on over. So that 1 in the ones column is still worth 10 times as much as it is here. So when I scoot it over, that means I'm actually scooting over 10 tenths, which is the same as 1, 1. Okay, so I have now 11 here. And I know 11 divided by 4, that doesn't work evenly, so I have to think about what is the highest I can go without going over. And that would be 4 times 2, and 4 times 2 equals 8. So then we do 11 minus 8. That gives us a leftover of 3. So that 3, again, I'm going to scoot it on over. And when I scoot it over, that 3 is actually worth 10 times as many hundredths, so it's worth 30. And that 3 transfers here to 36. So 30 additional dots to that 6. This is where my math facts work out really well. So I need to know 4 goes into 36 9 times. Let's check it with a standard algorithm. Right, if you haven't heard of Division Man before, it's really easy and it still uses the same steps. He has division eyes, a multiplication nose, subtraction mouth, all inside a little box. His body is an arrow for the bring down, and then his legs remind me to do remainder or repeat. So 4 goes into 5 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract that. Subtract it. 5 minus 4 is 1. Then I bring down. I'm at 11. You guys notice anything here? 4 goes into 11 2 times. That equals 8 when I multiply 2 times 4. Subtract, and I'm left with 3. Then I'm going to bring down my 6. 4 goes into 36 9 times. Then I just need to bring that decimal straight up here, and I have the same answer. Okay, if your teacher has okayed you to do this, you may work this one out with a partner. So there's 2 in this set. So you would do 1 completely by yourself, and you're going to kind of walk your partner through it. So talk yourself through it, and then your partner is going to do the same with you for the second problem. So try this one with a partner if your teacher allows, otherwise just do it by yourself. And I want you to do it using a place value chart and then check it with a standard algorithm. So pause the video till you're ready for the answers. Alright, so I'm dividing by 4, and I know that 6 can be divided by 4 only one time. So if I have those place value dot, it would look like this. 6 minus 4 gives me a leftover of 2. So what am I going to do with that 2? Scoot it on over here. So now I have 27 dots. 27 divided by 4 doesn't work out evenly, but I know that 6 times 4 equals 24, and 7 times 4 equals 28, but that's too big. So I'm going to have to go with 6, and I know that that's 24. So 27 minus 24 is 3. So that 3 goes right over here to the hundredths column. Can't do anything else with it here. So 32, I know that 4 times 8 equals 32, or 32 divided by 8 equals 4. So my answer is 8. And with a standard algorithm, looks like this. 4 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down my 7. 4 goes into 27 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24. Then I subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. 2 minus 2 is nothing. Bring down my 2. So 32. How many times does 4 go into 32? 8 times. Then just bring my decimal up. 1 and 68 hundredths. 1 and 68 hundredths. Okay, here's the second one to try with a partner. Pause the video until you're ready for all of the answers. Okay, this one is a little bit different because if I have my 2 here, my 2 dots, I'm dividing by 8. This is the first one that I can't do anything with right at the first step. So all I'm going to do is move that 2 on over. So take that 2 I can't do anything with because 8 can't go into 2. So now that 2 is going to go right over here. And that 2 tens becomes 20 ones. So how many times can 8 go into 20? I know it can go in 2 times, and 2 times 8 equals 16, so when I subtract 20 minus 16 equals 4, it means I'm left with 4. So I'm going to move that 4 on over to the next column. That 0 becomes a 40. I know that 5 times 8 equals 40, and 40 minus 40 is nothing. So I'm left with just my 8. How many times does 8 go into 8? It goes in 1 time. Need to check it with the standard algorithm. How many times does 8 go into 2? It does not. How many times does 8 go into 20? It goes in 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. 20 minus 16 is 4. Then I'm going to bring down that 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. Subtract. I'm left with 0. And then I bring down my 8. I like to draw arrows too so that I know I'm getting all of the digits. 8 goes into 8 one time. Then I just have to carry my decimal straight up. My answers match. Okay, this is the last one, and I want you to try this one all by yourself, so resume the video when you are ready for it. Okay, I am dividing by 6 this time, so 6 divided by 6, I know that equals 1. And 6 minus 6 equals 0. So there's nothing to carry over in the tens column. So now I'm going to look. What's 3 divided by 6? Or how many times does 6 go into 3? This might be a useful place to have your place value dots or discs. I have 3. How many groups of 6 can I make? I can make none. So I can't just ignore this. If I can't make any, what do you think can go here? It has to be a 0. I can't ignore it because I can't leave that space empty. So we have to add a 0 because 6 doesn't go into 3 here. But what that means is now I'm going to scoot that 3 over, and now this becomes 37 because I couldn't do anything with it here. So how many times does 37, can 37 be divided by 6? And that is 6 times. 6 times 6 equals 36. So when I subtract, I'm left with 1. And that 1 is going to be carried right over to the thousands. So 12 divided by 6 equals 2. Let's check it with the standard algorithm. Okay, how many times does 6 go into 6? 1 time. 1 times 6 is 6. That leaves me with 0. Let's bring down the 3. How many times does 6 go into 3? Remember, it can't. So I have to deal with that. 0 times 6 is 0. Kind of crazy it seems like, but that's what you have to do. So 3 minus 0 is 3. Now I bring down my 7. How many times does 6 go into 37? 6 times. And 6 times 6 equals 36. That one might run out of room. 37 minus 36 is 1. Bring down that 2. This is why I like to draw those arrows, so I make sure I'm getting all of them. 6 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. And when I subtract, I'm left with nothing. So, bring up my decimal, 1.062 is the same as 1 and 62 thousandths. Okay, go ahead and take the exit ticket quiz and see how you do. Then if you pass it, you're ready to start the problem set.